Hello, everyone. It is the Gumbo Pot Podcast. I am your host, Nigel Henderson, aka Nigel with the Knife, and I also have my co-host, Omar Alcibar, aka O Marvelous.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm cutting you off.
You're not letting me do my own introductions like I'm trying to say hello to people.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. But today, we are checking back in with Brea Stinson. In the first season of the Gumbo Pot Podcast, Brea agreed to jump on with me when I was just the only host of the Gumbo Pot Podcast. Oh no, I'm totally throwing that off. No, it was the first episode with Omar.
The first episode that we did with me was we did Nonchalant Savant.
That was a smoke session, so that's why I don't remember
that. / interview. I swear you want to know what we said? We have no idea. We had to go back and listen to it ourselves.
It was a lot of ahs and ums, but from that we had the opportunity to sit with you, and you agreed. You didn't know anything about the Gumbo Pot Podcast, and so wanted to thank you again for agreeing to jump on this podcast that you never knew about. And now we are in a season 1.5, and we wanted just to check up on you, see how you're doing in these crazy times, and chop it up with the homie. And before we start, though, in true Gumbo Pot fashion, we need to toast.
Oh, that's right.
So, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Cheers. I got a little, I think it's a Sazerac. It's a little strong, but that's what I did. What you got over there?
I am working with some Kentucky straight, but I put it in ice to open it up. Not really. I'm sure I'll lose fans for that, but I'm the one drinking it.
You're fancy, Omar. How about you, Brea?
Speaking of fancy, Brea, though.
A little discount Prosecco.
Only a couple people know what that's about.
Pandemic Prosecco.
You got to hit them with this real quick. Oh, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
It's got the was price still on it.
And the is price. I ain't mad at you. Get it how you live.
Got that damn pandemic sticker on it.
There you go. Shit. So Brea, how are you doing? What's going on in your world? What's up?
I'm doing good. I mean, you get a lot of people who are like eager and ready to go back to whatever. I'm actually really good. I feel like I'm probably like the happiest I've been in years. Like I've really had like quiet time and time to take care of myself for once. So
okay. Yeah,
I'm dealing. Like business wise, that's something else. But just on a personal note, I'm doing great.
Okay. So was this after the first initial blow? Were you smooth sailing all the way through, or like how did you get to this place?
Oh no, if y'all would have called me 2 months ago, Rawls would have been on the camera because I was doing bad. I was running around this place looking crazy, like it's all over now. It's all over now.
Virus, coronavirus.
Cancel my egg subscription because we don't need it. It's Lou Ross from here on out. Yes. I was doing mighty bad, as they say in The Color Purple, because I feel like my quarantine started a little bit earlier than everybody else's. So I think I went through my ebbs and flows of emotions a lot earlier than everybody else started that roller coaster, because my industry started to shut down first. And once I realized that South by Southwest and Coachella were going to get canceled, I knew from the history books of my business, those are usually the things that set the tone for the rest of my year. And without them, I knew I was going to be playing catch up for the rest of the year, honestly.
Yeah.
So with or without COVID, I knew that I was going to be in a special predicament this year.
It's crazy times. You know, for independence, we set up a lot of our work 3, 4, 5 months in advance. And then sometimes we know we have jobs a year in advance. And so, like you said, in a matter of a week, everything's goodbye. And you're like, oh shit, where's all the money?
Yeah, and even with me, I think the one thing that kind of had me stand out from other designers that did custom is that my turnaround a lot of times was so fast and it was overnight. So even in between the 3-4 month job window, I still in the back of my mind was like, ooh, that job didn't go so well, or that job got canceled. So I know somebody's going to call me for a last minute something to make up the difference.
Yeah.
And when they're telling you to stay at home, there is none of that.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. And my building closed. So there was a moment where
the building where you work in, or the
studio is, it closed. So there was a moment where I was wrestling with if I wanted to be a part of the mask making community to give to the hospitals, because they were at a complete shortage. But I didn't even have the opportunity to say I'm going to go in there and use whatever fabric I have to contribute. A building was shut down. So then I went through this thing where I was just like, what was all of that for if I can't be of service to people when they're in need, or I can't even like save enough to pay my bills? Like what good is everything? So I went through that and came out a little bit on the other side. We could talk about
it. Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us about it. How'd you come out on the other side? What's the other side like?
Yeah, like what's helping you cope through it? I mean, obviously I see a dog.
Yeah, I got 2 puppies. It's like dog hair everywhere, but I don't think I could have made it through this without them, for sure, because it gives you something else to kind of focus on, sometimes where they got to get out and they have to get some fresh air, and they just kind of took my mind off of things for a while. But when D-Knife started the club quarantine, I found myself in the kitchen just dancing by myself with a bigger bottle like this.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, definitely. Shouts to, DJ.
Yeah, and so I was just thinking, because I was talking to my family in like a big group chat. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm going to start a dance class, and I think that you all should come so we could laugh at each other. You know what I mean? Because I just felt like we all needed a pick-me-up, and I'm like, I can't really rely on D-Nice to supply that for me every day, because I didn't know he was going to be getting on as much as he has.
Right.
So I was just like, I want to feel a little piece of that every day. So a small little thing between my little 8-person family group text turned into something that I literally do every day. I look forward to it. I still got on my sports bra from earlier, and like it's full out. It's full out. I play all the jams, so it's not like we're working out to no Vegas music. We're working out from everything from Alexander O'Neal to YG. Like it's a full range and I got literally 60-year-olds to like 18-year-olds dancing with me every day, and
you need it.
And this is all family?
No, some of my friends have started to come in.
Nice.
Like I got 2 of my friends that I was on Pomerettes with in high school. Like we literally haven't danced together since then. And like come in there. One of my friends is now a reverend. She comes and we still listen to Bad Bitch. and all the songs that I like with the cuss words in it, I just apologize. My friend's mom is in there. My mother, who has never worked out in my entire life, I don't ever remember her working out. She comes every day.
Hey, that's fellowship right there.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
That's fellowship, and you know what? I'm fine. You need some kind of release. You get, like, I went running the other day, and the next day I was sore as hell, but it relaxed me. I wasn't as tense as I normally am during this weird ass time. You got to find that release. So that's really dope that you guys are doing that. It's really dope.
Totally. And like chin coming back in, cheekbones is sitting up where they supposed to. I was like, oh, okay.
She's got that glow.
Yeah, like, because that's one thing. I was like, I'm not going to come out of this pandemic broke and looking like a dumpling.
I might come out a couple pounds heavier. I'm cooking up a storm.
I remember in the last episode when we first spoke, you were talking about the fact that you would get more attention from East Coast men than you have been from West Coast men. How was that going before all men just got shut down?
All men, damn. When you say it like that,
well, we can't come around right now.
No, you're right. You're 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, no, this is exciting. I'm glad we're getting audio because this has been a long time since some men's voices have been in here. I'm like, hey, y'all.
You better be careful. You might get somebody hitting you up. Quarantine. What you doing?
I heard you with a face mask.
I like the
I heard
design
you
you
do some
did.
PPE.
Hey, what up, Mom?
Exactly. You scared?
Oh my!
You
What,
scared, little
you
girl?
scared?
Well, I mean, it sounds like with all this dancing and toning up you've been doing, you're gonna be able to take on any part of the country when you get up out of here.
Oh, I'm gonna be so lit. So if I don't do clothes no more, y'all can tell the story. Like, I remember her when she used to.
We got the footage. The footage gonna be out there. So
She got a fans only now. She lit.
that's a whole other subject.
From fashion to fans only. That'll be in the next segment.
The coronavirus saga.
The coronavirus remix.
Oh, you gotta do a whole video journal about it.
Look, I got a little tear coming down.
Hey, we needed that. So, question.
Yes.
We talked about how you're coping with everything, and we also talked a little bit about your industry. What do you foresee being that pivot point in your industry right now, or how are you pivoting in this industry? With having your studio shut down and not having full access to all of your tools, and just the times that they are.
Yeah, I mean, and the building has opened back up, but I'm not really going to rely on the same people who told me Corona wasn't a problem. I'm not relying on them to tell me that it's not a problem now. You know what I mean? I'm just not. So I'm not going back in there. And one reason is honestly, two of my right hand guys, they now have other jobs. Because I couldn't tell them to sit at home because I didn't know how soon I would be able to get relief or what that was going to look like, and if it's really worth it. Because if I had maybe been a designer that did mass production, or if I had a collection that was doing units already, then it would make sense to keep them on. But because I kind of found myself in this niche of being a celebrity costumer, like it's great at the moment, but while things were moving so fast, I had no idea that had even become my business model. It just kind of happened. It just kind of happened that way. So I didn't want to hold anybody up or make any false promises as to what I was going to be able to do, because I knew touring wasn't going to start, and nobody's really calling my phone to ask me for anything custom to sit on a Zoom or you know what I mean, to go to club quarantine. quarantine. Right. So that happened, and that was during that initial like month and a half where I was really just having to just look at the reality of it all and like not really take anything personal, but just figure out what I could do that could make me feel better about selling something at this time. So that's when I just decided to do the face shields, and it's good because it doesn't require a lot of people, being at risk. Shipping is a little bit different right now, but at least it's something that's kind of purpose and makes sense, and it's something that's still in my lane. It's not like I'm selling plates.
Right, like all of a sudden.
Don't go to Nigel page. Come over here and get your catfish and grits. Even though I cook, I still wanted to be able to offer something that was true to me and something still in the same vein of what maybe somebody would have expected me to do.
Okay.
In regards to what you were saying about somebody calling you, let's say that someone that you've worked with calls you up and says, I need something just to make me feel better. I want like an incredible showpiece or whatever. Could you do it without ever seeing them?
Oh yeah, that's the case. I've been working for 50 Cent for 7 or 8 years, and I've never met him.
Oh wow! He just sent the measurements.
Yeah, like I saw him. We were on the same set for Jimmy Kimmel one day, but he was like in an interview when I was walking to the stage with TLC, and so I never got a chance to like go and introduce myself. But I met his stylist well, actually, my ex-boyfriend met her, and then we met later. But she kind of just hired me with a blind eye, and so we've been working together
Nice.
ever since.
That's awesome.
And
Nice.
sometimes his weight fluctuates with his acting, but she just sends me over the measurement sheets, and I literally have a block that I've been working with from the very first pattern, and that block is the one that I typically use because he doesn't fluctuate a lot. Sometimes his back gets a little bigger, but yeah, so I could totally do it. It just depends on what it is, and if I feel like I want to put myself at risk to go do
it. Exactly. You gonna risk it all for some for a t-shirt?
No, sorry. And then the thing is now, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
The thing is now, Tut, no.
It's like your Zoom call meeting for work. You just got the dogs in here, and hopefully everybody on the call is closed.
So good. I don't know what just happened.
This isn't live anyway.
Good.
Yes, it is.
We can edit this out, girl. If you want to show us some of your dancing, we can edit that out afterwards too.
Now, y'all just gotta come in the morning. It's good, I promise.
You gotta send us the invite.
I will. What was I saying?
We were talking about kind of the pivot in the industry. Omar asked you, are you able to kind of work in essence virtually?
Yeah, you were explaining that you do a lot of your work just with measurements that are sent to you, such as.
Oh, what I was saying is that I've been through, I think, so many different changes with this whole thing that I don't even know if I want to put myself under pressure like that anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if that will still be my business when this is all over with, because like, yeah, it's fulfilling in the moment to kind of see your sketch go from sketch to actual stage. Like, it's really nice, but the way social media and the way my industry has trained my brain, that lasts for an hour. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay, when's the next headache or like trip of anxiety gonna come? Because that's what I was used to, like, rolling off of. That's what I was used to living off of, was a constant anxiety as to deadline and when's the next thing coming, deadline when the next thing's coming. And there was nothing in between all of that to take care of myself. And I actually feel like that's why I never kind of got out of being the celebrity designer, because there was no time for me to properly create a brand for myself, because I look like Lou Rawls. And I love Lou Rawls. He was a handsome chocolate man with a great voice. But
you don't need to be walking around looking like him.
When your name is Brea and you're a woman, you
that is so like funny. Just the Lou Rawls comparison, like, it's so funny.
Because my hair was thinning in the top. I'm telling y'all, I'm turning into Lou Rawls.
Lord have mercy.
You'll never find a girl named
hairline
Brea
like mine.
You won't find her. Because she is a slave to her job and her hair is thinning at the top.
I do understand what you were saying in regards to, like, you know, you work so hard and you're putting all these hours into getting something done, and it's like a Grammy performance, and it's like, okay, bam, and then on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How long do you think it took you to get used to that being such a like long process with such a fleeting like appraisal? Like, I mean, you know, part where you, like, what is the word that I'm trying to say? I'm sure it was shocking at first for that to fade so quickly. You know, the excitement of seeing your, you know, your creation on stage. Do you think it's because you had to move on, or just?
Yeah, because I don't even think I noticed it until now. Mm-hmm. Because once I could not, or I didn't expect any more work to come, and I could not go to work to create drama for myself. Mm-hmm. Then I had to sit here and think about what are the things that I like, what's going to gratify me while I can't do any of that. And so that was a process too, because for so long I put all of that stuff before myself. And even honestly, I don't have kids. I'm not in a relationship. And I wasn't seeing my family as much as I do right now because I see them every day because we work out or we at least talk to one another and kind of converse on how my grandfather's doing, how my grandmother is doing. And before, I wasn't talking to them as much. I wasn't seeing them as much. And I would easily put off not going home for the holiday. I'll try to go like another time. And then another time would turn into me canceling on another holiday. And it was just a repeat cycle of that because I was really trying to put 100% into my career.
Which,
so now it's just like, okay,
there's nothing wrong with that. But it's that smell the roses now kind of thing. It's like, okay. And it's like, shit, what's going to happen after this? I'm very curious. It's interesting hearing everyone's perspective on that because some people are like, yeah, it's business as usual. And other folks are like, this ain't going to be the same thing.
And and you know what? I was also thinking that it makes no difference whether you're a celebrity designer or you work at a dry cleaners or you work at a hospital as a nurse. There comes a time where you have this thing that you're trying to acquire, you're trying to achieve, and you get it. And then there's always another level to go to, and it might just be like, what are some of the other things that I'm interested in? When am I going to have time to teach myself a language? Or I always learn to cook, but I never can go to take a cooking class. So now I feel like this is my time to not even like pivot in my business, because I think I'll always work in fashion in some way, but I think the next go around will be something that can sustain itself. It's not necessarily based around celebrities, and that can be of service when things like this happen, if we ever find ourselves in a situation like this again, or if this is just the new situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it'll give me some time to still be able to do the things that I like to do, because there are other things that I'm interested in. Honestly, I think that if this hadn't happened, light went out again. If this hadn't happened, I never would have had the balls to address that with myself or say, like, now I'm gonna take my cooking class, or now I'm gonna go take one of those little workshops and I'm going to audition for Saturday Night Live, because that's something that I was into when I was a child.
Oh, right.
You know I mean? So just looking at all of that.
So with that, it is a weird. We touched on it a little bit. We spoke about how your industry is changing. You're a creative. You're creative at the core of it.
At the core of it.
How are you staying creative?
I don't know if I told y'all this, but I started painting the first couple of weeks when I was the sad little Nirvana depressed teenager around here. I was painting, so I have paintings that are like day 1.
Hey, you better show that.
5, because I was like, I'm gonna be like Anne Frank. They gonna find me in here.
It's gonna be in a book,
and they're gonna find my paintings, and the world is gonna love me.
People are gonna line up around the block to go into your apartment.
Right. I was like, I'm Anne Frank in this thing because it's all done anyway.
Like, how long did you paint today? Oh, I don't know. I was just feeling the vibe. It just took me.
Are you painting like things, or is it just colors sometimes?
No, it was a lot of abstract stuff. Really,
nice.
really decent though, because I'm like, maybe I'll use it as prints. Maybe I'll get it printed on some silk or something if I do decide to do a collection. Some of it I really like.
I might need a little silk situation.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm not gonna say no to that.
Pajama tops for the podcast.
Hey, I like that.
I know, we're missing out.
Yeah.
We need merch.
Too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm gonna ask this question. When we had our first interview, we talked about cooking and food and whatnot. What are you cooking? What has been? Excuse me, too much alcohol. What has been your guilty pleasure? What have you been cooking? What has been your go-to in these crazy times outside of Prosecco?
Right. So I've been doing keto for like over a year, and like my cheat, of course, is still drinking.
Okay.
And I learned how to perfect my keto brownies and my keto biscuits. I learned how to make them where they taste so legit and real. So I'm very proud of myself for that. It's like
Okay.
you add more fat, and that's totally fine in keto, and that's what seems to work.
More fat, less carbs.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's just like a butter. It's like a butter brownie.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
So rich.
good.
It's so delicious.
Hey,
Because I was doubling up on the butter with the Betty Crocker box, so I knew that was the magic. But yeah, and a little bit of sea salt. But I figured it out. What I've been loving, I've been cooking more vegetables because after they talked about like the shortage of meat, and I don't eat tons of meat anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just like, let me explore what these leaks are talking about. I've been cheating a little bit, having beet and avocado salad. I love that when the lemon and the olive oil is like just right.
Nice.
Yeah. And just fresh herbs. Like I want to start a fresh herb garden. I'm loving my eggplant parmesan right now. So I'm making it interesting. I'm keeping I think that's where a lot of my creativity is going. So it's a good thing I'm working out because y'all would be able to see it.
Well, you've got that glow. You looking good, Mama. You looking good. So
Nigel, what do you think is the easiest herb to grow?
I've been so far I have a rosemary plant that just went bananas.
Mm-hmm.
And thyme. Outside of that, my mint has been struggle. My basil has been struggle.
Yeah.
Really?
But I'm on a balcony,
my
so
basil's been looking okay.
When I attempted before, those super leafy ones were.
I've tried lavender probably 3-4 times, and that just it never worked.
Wow.
I feel so defeated. It's a different kind of defeat. You just feel like you're stupid.
It's rough when something you're actually trying to grow doesn't. This must be what like parents who have like horrible kids feel. Like you're just like, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, it's like
and
me
this
with
just
the,
will
it's me
not
with
grow
the
right.
It's like,
God
what's
damn.
going on here?
Oh God.
Like,
That's exactly how it is. Okay.
Like I've done so much. I've fed you. I watered you, and you're just.
You got this beautiful place. I've been over backwards. I talk to you.
I give you fertilizer. I even compost.
That's how I yell. That's how I yell to the little herb pods in my arrow garden. I'm like, come on.
You're like, you should be more grateful.
This is supposed to do everything. I'm not even supposed to do anything, and it won't work. I think it's my bad energy.
Yo.
Come to dance class. Get that shit off you.
Yo. She got me in tears. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry to go. But you know how the Gumbo Pop podcast goes.
Yeah.
I've switched from whiskey to like cider.
Hard cider or soft cider? Or is there a soft cider?
I mean, as hard as it gets.
Don't drink soft cider, bro. All right. Well, Brea, before we go, we definitely want to thank you again for jumping on with us. Not once, not twice, 3 times.
You know, I think anybody who's going to see this is not going to know that we had a second conversation that just it doesn't exist anymore. So thank you so much for coming back. The funny thing is that the audio from Nigel's side and from my side, we still have that, but there's just nothing from you. So,
and that's a lesson for these kids. You live in the moment. You share real experiences with people, but you can't always post the good shit.
There you go. Because we was live and it was like 5 or 6 people on.
Oh, I was super live with like 3 glasses of wine. So maybe it happened for a reason. Because I definitely text Nigel like, what happened? Did I do too much?
Yo, I was like, you're good. She was like, I'm so sorry.
That's a Gumbo Pot lost tape.
Yeah, we'll only share it with you. But tell everyone what you got going on. I mean, I know you're doing the face coverings. We want to make sure we send people your way.
Oh,
did it? Okay.
So hopefully, when it's put up on you all's YouTube, there'll be a picture of me with one of them on. But they come in different styles, and I've got that and just a little Stinson Haus merch.
And what's the website they can find that at?
It's Stinson Haus, STINSONHAUS.com. And yeah, that stuff is on mine. That's keeping me afloat right now. So there it is.
So all you folks,
yeah.
make sure you check that out and keep
please.
all of us in your prayers and afloat.
Yes, please, and stay protected, because with all of these new rules, and not even to take this down a dark path, because this has been an upbeat interview, but you just seeing what's out there in the news, we're going to be the first ones to be harassed and asked where our face coverings are and why are we gathering. So at least for that stubborn person in your family that doesn't want to have the traditional mask, doesn't want to play ball, this you can wear on your head, you can wear it around your wrist, and you can even just pull it down and wear it around your neck, and at least you have it if you need it.
And it's stylish.
Oh yeah. I mean, the way things are going right now, everybody's gonna have to wear a mask for a while.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the flyest person out there, the only way you're gonna be able to represent that is gonna be with your mask. Because they're like, oh, clothes, that's so 2019.
All I care about is the mask.
Oh man!
And that was another like reason for it too. It was just like you would sound crazy trying to sell $1,000 denim jacket or a custom leather jacket to somebody when people are in situations like these. I knew my own financial situation. So it's just like, what do I look like? And I think a lot of designers are going to have to find an affordable way for them to still like make a contribution to fashion, because it's not going to be, luxury is going to be all about comfort right now and safety.
Yeah.
Like some silk pajamas.
You see what I'm saying?
Got the best pajamas on the block. Why do you care? Because I'm in the house.
Exactly. You're gonna
silk
get
pajamas with matching mask. Oh my!
You're gonna get this domestic luxury.
Look at this business that's happening.
There you go, domestic luxury in your face.
Brea, you're on your way. You don't even know.
You see?
So everyone, there you go. There you have it. There you have it. Make sure you check out Brea Stinson at StinsonHaus.com. And you can be fashionably protected.
Yes.
Bang.
Yes, I love that, Nigel. That was great. Matter of fact, when you edit this or do whatever you do, just send me that little bit so I can have
clip. And when you send out the mask, please give just instructions so that people don't walk around like this, because we all know what that really is like.
with the nose hanging out. Have you seen the video of the lady that has the cutout just right here because it would help her breathe? So she has a mask on, but it's just cut out.
Just covering her cheeks.
Yeah, that mask was made for something else, but that's another podcast.
Exactly.
Oh no, I will not do the hand gestures again.
Those hand gestures were superb. Maybe that's your new business.
Start finger touching.
Lord have mercy.
Well, how do you do that?
Oh God.
That was so good. You got way more gifts than I knew about.
Wait till you see me in your dance class.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him in your dance class. But if he's in there, please record it. I might just jump in just to see him dance.
You got to.
I know all the dances. I know the troop.
And we do a lot of that because I play all the Uptown jams. So
Lord have mercy.
Give it up.
Man, perfect.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in to the Gumbo Pot Podcast. Well, again, thank you, Brea, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Nigel with the knife. Omar Marvelous.
Hey.
The Gumbo Pot Podcast, and we're signing out with Brea Stinson.
Thanks a lot.
Take care of yourselves. Be safe.